In this video, I'm bringing you yet another epic, this time giga epic,
sensational. And that's the word you're looking for.
Product review. This time I'm reviewing the Best Extender V5, also known as the Epic Classic.
Are you kidding? It's epic, bro. Epic.
Kind of a confusing naming scheme, to say the least. But yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you all about the extender. I've been using it for quite a few hours by now, for like several weeks actually.
Several days later.
As you know, my favorite extender is the Best Extender Pro.
But she was a pro and hung tough.
This is the one with the Bluetooth, so this is sort of like the version without the Bluetooth. So I'll go ahead and compare it with the Epic extender. So I'll do a side-by-side comparison, do a little product overview, tell you about what I think about it, and go through some of the features and some of the, some of my thoughts on it. So it's going to be a very short, but hopefully interesting video.
I'll be the judge of that.
But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's a small thing for you, but for me, it means a lot. And if you want to consult with me, whether it's about PE or payronis, hit up my Patreon. The link is below in the description.
So, you need a life coach?
With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. First, let's do a bit of a product overview. So this is the Best Extender V5, also known as the Epic Classic. As of now, in the website, it's known as the Best Extender V5, which I actually prefer that, but in the branding, obviously, look, it says Epic here on the front of the extender. You can get it without the cups or with the cups. Without the cups, where the extender only is $179. You can also just get the Epic extender by itself. It's also $179. Now, the main difference between the two is the way the attachment works. By the way, I'm not clicking on it because I think there's like a bug or something on the website. Like, I cannot find where I can just buy the Epic by itself, but you should be able to, if you dig around, it's $179. So I'll do a comparison. But also the Epic, it has a different attachment, where the Best has this hook and you can use this little cup adapter here. The Epic, you have to use the Epic cups to use the Epic extender. I think they may also support like the Pennymaster Pro style cups and sort of those like Chinese cups that have that little hook. I'll show you in a minute. But the best part about what's different about the Epic is that the Epic is actually upgradable, so you can, or customizable or moddable, if you will, in that you can easily change the rods. I think you could probably change the rods on the Best Extender V5, but what's most interesting is that you can actually add the vibration bracket to the Epic extender. That's $49. So that can compare a little bit more to the Hog, which is a lot more customizable. So in comparison to the Hog is $94. So it's a $70 difference, something like that. Yeah, so the Hog, you can buy it, and the Hog you can also buy the vibration bracket as well. Yeah, so you can add the mount as well. So that's $24. So keep that in mind now, and I'll do a more deeper comparison. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and compare the Best Extender V5 and the Epic and the Hog, which is the main competitor, and I'll tell you some of the pros, some of the cons about each product. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is the V5. This is what I'll be reviewing, $179. So yeah, keep in mind, this was sent to me for free by Baseem. I will still always give you an unbiased review, but yeah, keep in mind that this was sent to me for free. I didn't feel the pain of shipping or anything like that. I do believe they have, I may be wrong, but like, check their website. I do believe they have shipping, and also you can use my coupon code for a big discount. The coupon code is in the description below. Yeah, so in any case, yeah, that's pretty much it for the product overview. So let's go ahead and do a comparison. So here we go. So this is the Best Extender V5, also known as the Epic Classic. I really wish, honestly, like, the first gripe I have about it is the naming scheme. Obviously, I talked about that in my Epic Extender review. I really wish they called this the Best Extender V5 and stuck with the Epic separately. Either that or merge them somehow, or I'll talk a little bit more about that when I compare with the Epic. But anyways, let me do a review. So this is the base. Yeah, so the base is super comfortable. It does have this little groove here at the bottom for your nuts, so they're a little bit more comfortable. I like to put my nuts here, so at the bottom, some people like to loop them through and put their nuts. The opening here is small enough already as it is, so pumped the night before, or I injected even, then I have like extra girth. It gets a little bit more difficult. But I for example can't feed it through here. I have to feed it through the bottom and not to the top because of girth. So the opening is already small enough, so I can't imagine feeding my balls through it. This is also something that my 19 expansion 2X, who from Reddit also mentioned, is that if you're on the girthier side, this is kind of a little bit, if the word is narrow or whatever it is, but skinny. but it's perfectly fine. Like my girth and my base girth is 6 inches, a little bit over 6 inches. So if you're, you know, anything below that, I would say like even if you're like 6.2 or so, this will be perfectly fine. I think if you're maybe higher than that, you may want to look at other options such as the hog. I would say like 6.5 and above, you may want to look at other options. You may not be fully comfortable in something like this. So yeah, so this is the first thing, is the base, but it works for like 99.9% of guys, which is, you know, what any good products should be striving for. The base is easy to use here, so easy to, you know, still kind of holds in place, but does it also easy to change. Now when I extend, I put something here, like I lay down and I like put this on top either like a blanket or something, or I just kind of let it hit. I'm like laying down with my back against like a back pillow. And most of the times I'll basically extend like a little bit downwards, or sort of like this, and let this just hit on the, you know, lay on the bed. Or if I want to extend a little bit more straight out, I'll basically put something here, whether it's a blanket or like a little box that I have, and I'll basically extend straight out. And this is perfectly sturdy. It should still hold, you know, if you don't have anything to put it there, but I highly recommend that you lay this on something, and you're gonna be static. I don't really think that you should be walking around. They do provide like a cord that you can use to strap this on and like walk around and do things. I'm highly aware of that. Like if I'm gonna get up and do something, like I'll just take it off and throw the ADS on for a little bit if I want to continue my, you know, my work routine. So yeah, so that's the base, and the screws here are just, I would say they're like perfectly, it's a good balance between being nice and sturdy and still easy to sort of change the angles. You know, kudos to 19 Expansion 2X who reminded me of this, you know, so check out his Reddit. You know, he's a cool dude. So anyways, yeah, so the next difference here is that you have these little knobs that basically you know, lefty loosey, and that means that you're lowering the bar here, so you can, you know, put it on. So I'll do some tutorials on how to use these. This is just a straight out review. You know, if you want those tutorials on how to actually use it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. In any case, so yeah, these are super smooth. I didn't really run into any issues. I thought I ran into some issues where like it was kind of like sticking, but like basically like maybe like the thread was like rough or something. But you know, the more I used it, those issues went away. So it might have just been the newness, or they had to sort of you know, wear in. But yeah, it really wasn't like a big issue. It's still super smooth to use, and the whole section is very, very sturdy. So one of my complaints of the original models is like how easy it was to twist, and this is like basically untwistable, comparable to like the Apex, which has the one piece. This is very, very sturdy. I don't know if it's as sturdy, but it's definitely good enough. Really, really good. Like if you remember the first time I reviewed the best extender, I tore it apart because of just how unstable like it was, and this is way, way more stable when it comes to like the twisting mechanics here. So yeah, it's very, very sturdy. None of the knobs, none of this like bolts here or whatever these are called have come loose. I cannot loosen them up with my hand, which is also a problem I have with the older versions. So definitely, like, you know, it's a V5 for a reason, because they've upgraded a lot of things. The knob is a little bit smaller than it used to be. So if you want to check out the best extender, or check out this video, but you know, and I didn't feel like going in there and digging it up. My apologies why I didn't compare with the old version. But in any case, you want to, if you're watching this, you're carrying how this compares against the other models that you can buy today, not against like an old model. Yeah. So, and whether you upgrade from a V4 to a V5, I wouldn't. I don't think so, unless you're like your V4 is broken. There's not like a feature that's like brand new to the V5 that you don't have in the V4. So I wouldn't upgrade it unless broken. What they have improved a lot is basically the build quality, the quality of it, you know, the sturdiness of it, the smaller bundle knob. So still really good. Yeah, overall quite a solid product. Let me actually just measure it. So let's go ahead and measure it from head to toe here. 14 inches in length, and wide here, if you include the twist knobs here, it's about 3.5 inches at the top. Yeah, it's about 3.5 inches here of width. So quite bulky. Now let's go. Yeah, so by itself, the product is a great product. So you can, the only thing is if you use the Apex cups, you have to essentially use this is my Apex cup. By the way, I'm using the LG hanger sleeves. I will be reviewing the Apex sleeves in the future. So I got the brand new cups. This is the V1, I believe, of the Apex cups that I'm still using, which I still love. So check out the review of where I reviewed the Apex cups as well. But anyways, so you gotta attach this, so it's kind of a little bit, more cumbersome if you're using the Epic cups. Yeah, so also notice here is it's not a fault of the extender itself, it's more so a fault of the cups, at least the V1 and this little adapter. Is look how close it is to this little release valve. Yeah, look how close it is to this release valve. So if this release valve, basically you have to push it, you know, and then you have to put on the adapter, which can also be a pain. You know, it's kind of annoying, like having to put this, because you know, in order to put the cup on, you have to use this little pump. So use this little pump to put it on, and then you have to put this little adapter, which you gotta use a little bit of force and to put it in, and then you know, you risk that this little hook is going to hit this little valve. I really hate this valve. I've talked about this. I do not like this valve at all. I love the Epic cups, but I really hate this release valve, because basically you push it. If you push it, it releases the pressure. A lot of the times, and it still happens, it's really annoying actually when I'm using my Epic, is that I push it accidentally, which releases the pressure, and then I gotta take the adapter off. I gotta use the pump again. Yeah, it's quite an ordeal. It's quite annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so it is kind of one of the disadvantages, is that if you're using the Epic cups, you gotta use this adapter to be able to use the hook. Yeah, but you know, if you use something like the Totalman cups, let's say you already have the Totalman cups and you want to use that, this obviously doesn't have the release valve, has a much bigger opening. It works great. This, by the way, are the FN Mint sleeves, which are also great as well. So, you know, to me, LG Hanger #1, FN Mint #2, but I have to try out the Epic sleeves in the near future. This uses a little bit more universal. This, you can use more adapters. So anyways, comparing it to the Epic, and apologies, I just, you know, fixed the lighting. Apologies for earlier in the video, but let's just keep doing it here. Anyway, so how does this compare to the Epic? So the Epic is a little bit shorter, at least by default here. You can make the Epic longer as well. You can buy the rods. You could probably buy the rods for both. So if you want to make this shorter, I'm pretty sure that you can. So the other differences is that the knobs here it moves. So you have one side is kilograms, the other side is pounds. And whereas with the Epic, it's a better design. Like, because the you know, they don't move, the tension gauge doesn't move. By the way, check out the video where I reviewed it, where, you know, it just stays in place. It's just much better, whereas here it kind of moves. It's a little bit more annoying because, yeah, like the tension gauge moves. So I do prefer the scale mechanism in the Epic. So, and again, with the Epic, if you're using like the Epic cups, you can use like you can just put it in there. It's a lot easier. The only kind of like problem kind of honestly with the Epic is that if you're using a fulcrum, right, or like a stick trick, which I call it, so check out the video where I call it the stick trick, but it's also known as the fulcrum bar, which is good because like sometimes you want to actually focus the tension on the shaft tunica and not like the ligaments or the lower part of the shaft. You know, especially for people like Peyronie's or curvature, like this is more prone to like slip out a little bit. But in practice, I didn't really see that as an issue. Like, you can still do the stick trick and you still use a fulcrum with this system here. But it was something where I was like worried, like especially if I'm moving the stick a little bit closer, like it could just kind of like push it out a little bit. That here has a little bit more of an advantage, but you know, I still prefer the Epic, honestly. Like, if I'm using the Epic cups, which I am using those nowadays, like I just prefer the ease of using like using the you know, the sliding mechanism where I don't have to fiddle with these little adapters. But yeah, so this is great. Yeah, so anyway, so yeah, so the scale it moves here, so that's the difference. And then you have a built-in bundle knob here for the Best V5, right, which is great. Whereas here you don't need that with the Epic. Like, you can just turn it, like you push it up and then you turn it, which is great. I love that. And I don't know if it's the case for like the new V2 cups, but like at least this one has a built-in knob mechanism. I don't know if you can see like those little notches here. And I think for the V2, they made it a little bit bigger. So I actually have this, and you know, this newer one where it doesn't have the little notches, which I actually love those notches. I don't know why they took it away and they made it bigger, but I'm gonna have a dedicated video for that. With this like bigger loop, it should be easier to use, but I think this is for the V2 cup, so I'll be reviewing that separately. My apologies that I just don't have those out right now. In any case, yeah, so these are both great products. How does this compare to the Hog? So here we have the Hog. The Hog has like this comfort pad at the bottom, it's a little bit flimsier here, so it doesn't really hold in place as well. Like you maybe use some Loctite and keep it in place. This was one of the problems that I use. I believe now Meat Sudden, who is the manufacturer of the hog, now uses Loctite to keep this in place better. So I think that was resolved. This has like the twist, the bundle mechanism is just not smooth. Like it doesn't have that sort of spring that puts it back in place. It's just like looser. Like if you pull it, like it just kind of stays there. Also, this whole assembly comes off, which makes things a lot more difficult, especially for newbies, where like this stays in place, right? Like this whole mechanism, this whole unit here of the scale does not come off. So yeah, you can obviously see the differences. This is a 3D printed device that's just assembled with like hardware parts, whereas this is like a dedicated manufactured products in China. The hog, I think, is American, but you know, the hog is a great product. I think if you're in a hyper budget, like instead of buying those cheap do not buy those cheap AliExpress ones, by the way. Just buy the hog instead. If you're scared, check that it's being shipped to your country, and most likely it is. But also check if the Epic, and save a little bit more money to see if the Epic ships to your country. In any case, yeah, the hog is still great, but it's definitely lower quality build than something like the Best and the V5. Also, the hog has like the vibration mount. So here I have my hog that I bought specifically for using vibration. I just don't recommend vibration especially for newbies. Like, you know, imagine you're gonna freak out, you're using vibration and you overdo it and your dick is numb. I've had that happen. I just don't freak out because like everything went back to normal, but I definitely do not recommend. So if vibration was like something for newbies, I would recommend the hog, just because like you can easily upgrade it, but I do not recommend vibrations for newbies. So anyways, yeah, the hog, you can easily upgrade it to have this bracket. Whereas as far as I know, as far as I can tell in the website, you cannot upgrade the Best Extender V5 to have that vibration rack. Whereas you can upgrade the Epic to have that vibration rack. Yeah, so it's really, really difficult to sort of choose between the two. A lot of people are like, you know, hey, which one should I choose? Blah, blah, blah. It's really, really hard to say. I would say like if you are a newbie and you want to use the Epic cups, I would get the Epic. Like I really like the Epic extender, how easy it is, how compact it is, and how moddable it is. So you can always add the vibration if you want on it later on. So by the way, I should probably do a review of the vibration. So, but which is painful for me to say because it's still my favorite extender when I'm actually not like reviewing something, is the Best Extender Pro. And I like using the Best Extender Pro with the like this is my setup. Like when I'm not reviewing something, I'm using the Best Extender Pro with my little adapter and the Epic cups, well, the ALG hanger sleeves, or I'll use the hog with the vibration mod. So I'll switch between these two. I'll start with this sort of to help loosen up the tissue with the vibration, and then I'll switch for long term to the Best Extender Pro. But yeah, dealing with this little adapter in this, it's a bit of a pain, especially when it sort of hits this. Hopefully the new Epic cups improve on this. So I would say like, yeah, if you are a newbie and don't plan on trying other adapters such as like the Total Man cup or the LG hanger chamber, which is still really good as well, or like the Total Man compression plate, which also you can use this on the hook, or what I've heard hints is like the comfort grip. Hopefully in the future it also works like the hook, or at least this type of extenders as well. Yeah, all these different adapters. Then get the hook, like if you're gonna use any of these. But I think for like 99.9% of people, you're just gonna use you're just gonna use the Epic cups. It's just a lot easier. So I would say like if you're a noob and you don't plan on using any of these different adapters, then get the Epic. So I would give that like a slight advantage. So yeah, if you're a noob and you're questioning which one you should get, I would say get the Epic. It's just simpler to use, it's just simpler to use, especially like every day on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to deal with this little adapter. It's just straight to the extender. But don't get me wrong, the Best Extender V5 is solid. It's super solid. You definitely have more choices of adapters from other companies. If you want to try those, it's more versatile. But that's like if you want to experiment that later on. So yeah, so that's basically it. If I were to choose and I was a newbie, I would get the Epic. I think it's great. But it's definitely a hard choice. But that's what I would recommend to a newbie. But if it's somebody that like, hey, you're really gonna take this seriously and you want to actually like invest and want to do things a little bit differently, then yeah, get the best extender V5 with the hook. That, you know, it'll support like a lot more different adapters. Now, what would I like to see in the future is I would love to see these two basically merged. So I would love like a mechanism where you can change between this type of bar and a hook bar, right? I don't know if that's even possible. I would love it where like the scale doesn't move around, and I can easily change it and set it to like, you know, the kilograms or pounds. So I want to, you know, I'm American, so I want to set it to pounds all the time. I don't want to be like looking at kilograms. That also honestly confuses me sometimes. Like I'm looking like at different numbers. I'm like, is that pounds? Is that kilograms? So I want them to merge, you know, like Super Saiyan status here. I want them to merge. And I want them to have the best of both features. And some moddable, I want to be able to add the vibration bracket later on. And then I want a version of that with the built-in scale. And that I would pay like top dollar for that, like I did for the Best Extender Pro. So yeah, it's solid. It's still solid. I'm looking forward to how they actually handle the product line moving forward. But would be my recommendation to the manufacturer, to Baseem. But obviously he has his own plan, so I'm not sure. But still a solid product. So this is a comparison, and hopefully that helps you. Like as you said, this is a great product. These extenders are great. I think it's within that price point where like, why would you ever pay for something ridiculous like the Pennymaster Pro? You know, like the extender from there, or like the Phalo Forte extender. Those are like cheap, look cheap as hell. This is solid. Like this is actually solid. I much higher recommend to buy either. These two are great products. Yeah, so a lot to say. Now again, for my day-to-day basis, is the Best Extender Pro. It's the Best Extender Pro or the, you know, or the Hog Vibration. But I think, you know, if they combine it, all these things where I can add a vibration bracket, I can add the built-in digital scale, I can use my Epic cup without the adapter. That would be great. So that would be my ultimate extender, where I'd be like, I would happily pay like $500 for that. But again, I don't think vibration and the digital scale are meant to go together, because most likely it'll break. Anyways, yeah, as of now, I am stuck with which I love, my trusty Best Extender Pro and my Hog Vibe. So anyways, solid product, definitely recommend it. If you want to go ahead and get it, use that coupon code. Let Baseem know that you found out about it through Mr. X. Yeah, with that being said, let's move on to our final thoughts. Another giga epic product review. So that's a pretty straightforward review. As you know, I was saying, these extenders are all really good. This is like the best, the epic, the Hog, and the Apex 2025, I think, are like the latest and greatest of modern extenders. I don't have an Apex 2025 yet. I'm like debating whether I should get one or not, just to review and make content on it. If you want me to review the Apex 2025 and make some content on it, leave the comment Apex 2025. Don't forget to support me. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Hit up my Patreon if you wanna support me as well. There's a tier there for just if you want to just be a supporter. That'd be amazing. Helps me pay for all this stuff. But in any case, yeah, I think they're all really good. At least like the Epic, the Hog, you know, and the Best Extender V5. What is my final verdict? Which would I get out of all of them? I think I would go for like the Epic. I think vibration is great, but it's for advanced people. You know, I think the Epic cups are great, and if you stick within the Epic environment, I think this is a great, super easy to use, super. You know, I think the modability I think makes it great. However, if I think that they should really converge like the best features of the Epic with the best features of the Best Extender, such as like the non-rotating scale, like I mentioned. But anyways, yeah, so they're both really great. But my final verdict is I would go for the Epic if I'm a newbie. If you have like old cups laying around, or you want to try out different cups, or maybe you want to try out the like LG hanger cups or something like that, then get the Epic, because get the Best Extender V5 because that has the hook. So, but if you plan on just sticking within the Epic ecosystem, then get the Epic. I think a lot of the products are great. Well, I like the cups a lot, and I think like being able to upgrade and add the vibrations is great, and it's definitely like higher quality than the Hog. As much as I love the Hog, I think the Hog is great for its price point. The Hog and the Epic and the Best Extender V5 are still better quality, you know. There's a reason for the price difference. So anyways, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of other reviews coming up. So I have the Elite Male Pump Pro. I got that. I've been using it a lot. I have a lot of thoughts on it. That's coming up. I have some sex toy reviews where hopefully my girlfriend will be joining that, and I do want to introduce her to the channel real soon. I'm still trying to figure out whether I want to do like a live stream or something like that. But yeah, I'll probably have her chime in on those sex toy reviews. And I have a lot of fire content coming up, so I'm gonna do a lot of tutorials, the newbie, pumping guide, all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm really putting a lot of effort. So if you wanna help support, the best you can do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to consult with me, hit that Patreon and check out these other videos, particularly this one where I review the Epic extender, and check out this other video which may be relevant to you. And I'll see you next time. Peace.